I decided that I wanted to farm fresh eggs, so I started off in 2018 by buying some baby chicks and raising them to full grown.
We are live from my backyard where I am smoking meat like a brisket. I'm making meat now. Someone asked me, do I smoke meat? That's gonna be delicious. Yeah, if I smoke meat, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Welcome to East Texas Red Barn Cooking with your guy, Texas T. Texas T here. Get ready. It's time to do some cooking, y'all. So we are starting to collect a few eggs here. More than we can eat. My chickens are really producing. So we're going to do a way of storing these things to where we have eggs all through the winter when the chickens tend to slow down or stop egg production completely. And this way that I found and researched has been being done this way for hundreds of years, at least. So it's tried and true. So we're going to start off with a bucket of water. I've got 3 gallons of water in here, and calcium hydroxide measured out. We've got 12 ounces of calcium hydroxide, which is also known as hydrated lime, caustic lime, builder's lime, slate lime, pickling lime, all the same thing. Here we go, 12 ounces exactly. 12 ounces of hydrated lime with 3 gallons of water. You just pour it right on in there. And you mix it up really well. Alright, so I stepped away, let the powdered dust in the air settle, and I'm just going to take a whisk and I'm going to stir all this up till we get a nice milky look and all the powder is dissolved inside. You want to use fresh eggs for this, unwashed. That means you don't want to do this with grocery store eggs. You want them to be unwashed and fresh. So any of them that might be dirty that I need to wash or whatever, I'll wash them up, throw them in the refrigerator, and I won't put them in this. And this is going to allow us to store these eggs and use them through the wintertime. They say that they will store up to 2 years. But we won't need to do that because by springtime they'll be laying again. So we're just going to store our extras. Now with this all nice and mixed up, it's time to start putting the eggs in there. And I'm going to take all my clean, unwashed eggs, and let's just start putting them in here one by one. Alright, so we got all the eggs in there that we're going to put in there. Any of these here, what's left over, either they've got a crack in them, they're dirty, or like this one here, it's spotted, which is fine, but I'm not going to put it in this solution stuff because I don't know, with it being like that, maybe the pores could be open and suck up the solution or whatever. So those aren't going in. Also, float test. I got one floating here. That means this one's not fresh enough to do this with. So either use it immediately or throw it out. I choose to throw it out. And when we finish these up in a couple of months, this is September September the 12th. When we start using these in a couple of months, we will do a float test on each one of these when we take them out. If they float, get rid of them, throw them out. So that's how we're going to do it. And we're going to put the lid on this, put it underneath my cabinet, out of sunlight, and let these things sitting. Every time I get new eggs, I'm just going to put them in here until we need these. And then we'll do a comparison and a little test and see if this works the way they say. Good day. All right, we are closed up and ready to store. The ones I'm washing up, float test. See that one? Floating. All the rest are down to the bottom. So, goodbye. Getting thrown out. All right, so making some more beef jerky. A couple of different flavors. I'm trying one with my Carolina flavor, which is sort of a sweet and sour type flavor, basically. My marinade for it has apple cider vinegar, so it's a sweet and sour flavor. I think it's pretty good. It might not be for everyone's taste, but anyway, that's not what this is about. Back to this egg thing. Now, these eggs have been soaking in this bucket for right at 4 months. Now, it's not a long-term test like I wanted to do, which is about 8 months. And I will test them some again in a couple more months, but my chickens haven't completely stopped. And here we are, middle of January, about, and so that's 4 months. And they're not laying a lot, but I'm still getting eggs every day, whether it's 2, 4, whatever. So they slowed down, but didn't completely stop like I expected them to. And it's not a weather thing; it's a light thing. When you have less daylight hours, that's when they stop laying. And maybe mine, since they're not old, a year and a half old, year old, then it's their first season, going into their second season, and they're still young and still producing well. But obviously they're not going to quit because we're past the solstice now, and that's obviously the shortest days of the year, and so now we're gradually getting later and later, even though it's still early winter. The days are getting longer each day. So the odds of them quitting completely this year probably slim, but they're low enough to where we may have to wind up digging into this here soon. But I want to go ahead and do a test of it. So, like I said, these have been in for 4 months, and I've got it pretty full. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out, do a float test in a sink of water, make sure they don't float, and then we're going to crack open some fresh ones I got from yesterday, right beside one of these that are 4 months old, just sitting in this water underneath my cabinet, and see what the difference is, see if they look the same, and then we'll cook them up and give them a taste test. And then I'll do some more here in a few months. But I wanted to go ahead and do a 4-month test here. But anyway, let's get to it. All right, so I pulled them all out of my bucket. That's a lot of eggs. What I decided to do, I'm only gonna float test a few of them. I wanted to get all the way down to the bottom where I started. That way I know I had the oldest. Now there's probably only a week's difference between bottom and top because I filled this bucket up really fast back in September. But we'll take a few. I had 3 that were cracked when I pulled them out. I don't know if I did that or they cracked inside. I have no idea, but I threw those out. So I'm gonna do a little float test of about 6 or 7 of them and make sure they don't float. And if they don't float, I'm gonna throw all these back in the bucket with fresh solution. I'm gonna pour this out. I don't know if you're supposed to. I don't even know if I should have pulled these out. But either way, I want to test them again in 4 months. So I'm going to put a whole new bucket of solution, pour this out, make fresh, throw all these back in here. We'll check it again in about 4 months. All right, I got the new bucket filled up, new solution, and all the eggs back in there. Now I did, when I poured the old one out, I had about a quarter of an inch of lime slush down at the bottom, so I guess it doesn't actually dissolve, or at least mine didn't. So we'll see. This is a test, so we'll figure out what happens. Now we're gonna get on to these ones that I pulled out and washed up. We're gonna crack these open and check them out beside some fresh ones. Let's get it going. All right, so got my solution all made up. All my eggs are back in the bucket underneath the cabinet. We'll let them sit for another 4 months. I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning. Can't remember. It's been 4 months. But the lime that you use is measured by weight, not by volume, not a fluid ounce type thing. It's 12 ounces by weight. So, you know, if you decide to save your eggs, be sure you weigh it out. It's 1 ounce per quart of water. We've got 3 gallons of water, 12 ounces by weight of the lime. So these are farm fresh. Well, they're all farm fresh, but these are a day old. Those are 4 months old. So we're gonna crack these babies up and see if they look the same as ones that's 4 months old. So let me find my larger ones here. Right there. All right. There we go. So, 1 day old, 4 months old. They look exactly the same. No discoloration or anything in the 4-month-old one. Looks like an egg. So, we're gonna fry these babies up and see if they taste the same. 4 more months, I'm gonna let those sit. And then I'll do this test again. That way I know I have an 8-month-old egg. So we know they look good at 4 months. We'll see if they still taste good. And then in another 4 months, we'll see if an 8-month-old egg still looks the same and tastes the same. I'll let you know. On this left side here, we've got the 1 day old. On this right side, we have the 4-month-old. Now I will say that the 4-month-old is not as yellow as 1 day old. I broke that one, but we're gonna give it a shot. All right, we're gonna do a taste test. One here on the left is 4 months old, and this is 1 day old. Like I said, the color is slightly different. The 4-month-old is a little bit lighter color yellow than the 1 day old. And I did 1 scrambled of each, and then 1 sunny side up of each. This one I broke the yolk, but I don't care. We'll see what it's going to be like. If I wind up sick, I'll let you know. If I don't wind up sick, you won't hear nothing about it. There. As long as it tastes like an egg, nothing wrong with it. I'm cool. It may not look exactly the same, but you know, they're not. One is 4 months old and one is 1 day old. So, as long as it's still fresh and good enough to eat, we'll find out. So, well, I know what regular egg tastes like. Good, good, good. Yeah. 4 months old. Here goes nothing. Tastes just like an egg. No bad taste to it. Yeah, it tastes good. Try the 4-month-old scramble. It's a tad bit lighter. It seemed to be a little runnier, actually, when I was poured it into the skillets. Tastes just like every egg I've ever eaten. And this is 1 day old. See if I taste any difference. Tastes exactly the same. So, you know, as long as I don't get sick, I'm gonna eat all this. True test. As long as I don't get sick overnight, it'll be a success. I'll let you guys know.